Around the world, God is opening doors.
Hello and welcome to our 5th annual Day of Giving. If you are joining us for the first time, our Day of Giving is all about sharing stories about what God has done to reach the nations through education, and then raising more money to be able to continue to do that work. So this year, our goal is to raise $220,000, which would help us reach almost 3,000 more learners in the next year, with the hope of the gospel through education. Because we just see how education has the ability to open doors for the gospel in so many different ways. And we're going to be hearing more stories about that today through a number of different people. If you've been following us on social media, you've seen a lot of videos come out over the last couple of weeks sharing stories about what God is doing. And very shortly, we're going to be joined by our National Director of Uganda, Morris. If you've been watching the videos, you've probably seen the video about Sparrow Project, which is a ministry of TeachBeyond that focuses on teacher training in multiple countries, including Uganda. And so we are actually doing a special giveaway during this live that if you would like a Sparrow Project merch item, such as a water bottle, a journal, or a bag, this cool tote bag with the Sparrow Project logo. If you make a donation to the Day of Giving within the next 15 minutes while we are live, the first 4 people that make a donation will get one of these items. So to get entered, make a donation. The link to give should be in the chat, and I will make sure that that is on the chat on all of the platforms. If you make a donation through that link in the next 15 minutes, the first 4 people to make a donation will get one of these 4 items. And so to let us know, send us a private message. So that's either on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Send us a private message letting us know that you donated during this live or you tried to, and we will confirm that donation on our end and then send you more details about how to get your door prize. So very exciting. We'll be doing more door prizes throughout the day. And of course, our grand prize giveaway with lots of different items. You can enter by commenting on posts within the Facebook event, by inviting your friends to join, by commenting during a live video, lots of different ways that you can get entered into that grand prize giveaway. But these items are specifically during this live. If you make a donation, send us a message and we will get more details. All right, without further ado, then I'm going to be inviting Morris to join us, who is our National Director of Uganda. So let's bring him on here. Good morning, Morris. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Ruth, how are you?
Doing well. What time is it there in Uganda?
It's 30 minutes to 6.
Okay, so
In the evening.
you're ending your day. We are just getting started here in the United States. I was just thinking back to when we first met back in, I think it was 2023 at the Africa Regional Conference that I met both you and your wife, Annette. Seems like just the other day. And your wife, Annette, is in the Sparrow Project video, correct? She's very involved with Sparrow Project.
She is, and she loves it.
Yeah, I love seeing her on video. I'm like, oh, it's Annette. Just hearing her share about all that God's doing through teacher training in Uganda and beyond. So I mentioned, so Morris, you are the National Director for TeachBeyond Uganda. So I was wondering if you could start by just sharing, what does it mean to be National Director? What does that look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
Well, thank you very much. Being the National Director at TeachBeyond Uganda, really I oversee the vision and the mission and then lead the team that is executing the work that's here in Uganda. And we get to see that God does what he wants to do in the communities that we live in.
Yeah. And we were just talking about this last night about how TeachBeyond has so many of these different national entities in different countries, and that really it's truly the expression of TeachBeyond in your country. What does it look like to have education that transforms lives into all God intends? And what does that look like specifically in your context and things like that? So one of those we know is Sparrow Project, doing teacher training. How many teachers currently, or how many cohorts have been trained through Sparrow Project in Uganda?
We've had about 3 cohorts. Very exciting. I've been privileged to attend some of the graduations that have happened, and the transformation is just wonderful. Seeing how teachers lighten up to the training.
Oh no, I think we lost Morris for a moment. This is what happens. We have technical difficulties.
Such one.
There we go. You're back. We froze for a second, but you're back.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's wonderful to have to see the impact and the transformation. The teachers really lighten up, and it becomes it was really something that God is doing that the teachers hadn't seen. So yes, Pharaoh is one of those programs that has been running in the country.
That's awesome. I also wanted to check in. It was a couple years ago, I think 2 years ago, for our Day of Giving, I watched the video about Butambala Vocational School or Learning Center that was opened there. I was wondering if you could give us a little bit of an update of how that's grown through the nursery and vocational training. Yeah, what's happening with that vocational school?
Well, a lot is happening. A lot is happening. We have seen tremendous things happen. I mean, immediately 20 out of like the 29 young people that are first enrolled into the school are already working. I get the privilege of going into communities and they wave at me and call out when they're at their workplaces or tell me how they've gotten work. And it's just encouraging to see that those young lives have been changed and impacted. And so we aspire to do more in that. That's the vocational. We have seen a little expansion into what we want to do, and we want to do more because the community needs it. The nursery children, it's one of those areas that can almost get you crying. Well, you're very excited. You're looking at them because they came in when they didn't even know how to make a life. We're trying to get each one to hold their neighbor's hand as they walk to wherever. Right now they make the best of the lines. They're speaking English. They're really starting to speak English. They're learning to read. They're learning to give answers. It's just amazing to see how the transformation and how that whole process is happening. And you know what? I no longer pray for lunch and breakfast. These kids do their prayers. They select one at a time and they do say the prayers, and that's just awesome. Yeah.
That's so cool. I've loved seeing that too, just like grow. I remember the first day of nursery of seeing that picture of all the students in their uniforms and just hearing these stories and how, you're looking to add more classrooms and add more grades over the years. I also heard there was a story about a church in your community that was impacted because of the opening of the school. I was wondering if you could share a little bit of that story.
Yeah, there is a church that got quite excited about the work we're doing, and as we expand, and as you know, every year we have to build 2 more classrooms for the nursery, and so that means we have more children within the community. However, even with the church, what we discovered is those little ones were really not going to the church because probably the welcoming of them wasn't that. So what really is exciting is that one of the teachers realized that on Sunday these kids are not going to any church and started a Sunday school for 2 hours right at the nursery school. And every Sunday she has a little over 30 that come for 2 hours to do Bible games and memory verses, memorizing and playing all these games. So, the church is excited and that is great, but we are also seeing an opportunity to continuously minister to these young souls throughout the week. Yeah.
That's great. And I love that too, of just the reminder that Teach Beyond, we're not working independently of the church, right? God's called us to work in education, but it's always working alongside the church and what God is doing through the church and always wanting to bless the church and things like that.
Yes.
And so I love hearing stories of that, of how just even in what you're doing there in your community in Uganda, connecting with the local church. And
Absolutely.
just thinking about this of, even Teach Beyond Uganda that was established a number of years ago and how God's working through that. And then just wondering if you can share like a little bit, people who have given the Day of Giving in the past or people who are thinking about it, of what have these funds like allowed you to do both like practically and even through the other resources that it's provided.
Well, we've really managed to put many young people to school. We've been able to support them. The little children have breakfast and have lunch, and they come to school excited. They stay at the school. We've been able to put up structures that are being used to really for the education purposes. We've been able to bring in and buy equipment for tailoring, so tailoring machines, and for the hairdressing, and for the welding and electricity that they're learning. It's a lot of things that's been put up and bought, and we have really been.
I think we lost Morris again. He'll probably come back shortly. I've loved, if you've seen their Instagram of just all these different things of the tailoring and the welding, electrician training, hairdressing, all these different trades that these students are getting to learn to help them be able to get jobs. And like you shared earlier, that they've already seen 20 of these individuals that are now out and working in the community because of this vocational training. And beyond just vocational training, of knowing that it's also Christ-centered, biblically based, and that people are getting that training as well. Hopefully Morris's internet will kick in shortly. But I've just been so encouraged hearing the stories of what God is doing in Uganda, and just even the idea of being globally connected but locally empowered. Like Morris and his team in Uganda are the expression of Teach Beyond in Uganda. But then being connected globally as an organization allows us to partner with them in providing training for their board of what does the board look like. And even Morris coming to a conference for national directors, that all of our national directors join together, and we're planning and having a vision for what God is going to do in the years to come in each of their countries, but then partnering with each other to do that. So hopefully everything is well with Morris. I know that there was always some different difficulties with Wi-Fi. So, but just a reminder that Uganda is just one of the countries where we have national entities. There are so many different places around the world, in Latin America, Europe, Asia, where there are these different national entities that God is working to reach their nation through education. So reaching Uganda through education, reaching Brazil through education, reaching France through education, all of these different places. And we'll be hearing more stories throughout the day. In just a couple hours, we'll be joined by Angie Pape in South Africa, talking a little bit about open schools worldwide, which is one of the global regions of Teach Beyond. And then later at the day, we'll also be joined by Artur, who is our regional vice president for Latin America, sharing a little bit about what God's doing across Latin America. So just a reminder that on average, it takes about $75 to help us reach one more learner. And so your gift of $75 today will help us not reach just one more learner, but two, because of the matching that's going on. So just a reminder that if you make a donation, while we're live, so we've just got a couple more minutes, please send us a direct message on either Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, and you will get one of these prizes, a Spirit Project water bottle or journal or something like that, to help remind you about the work that God is doing in Uganda and beyond. Uganda is not the only country where we do teacher training through Spirit Project, but so many of those things. All right, I think Morris was maybe able to join back on. I'm going to add him back here. Morris, are you there? Welcome back.
Welcome to the challenges that we have. They're very live challenges, as you can tell.
Well, Morris, anything last you want to say to the people watching to encourage them about what God's doing and what more he could do as the Day of Giving and the Global Impact Fund allow us to do more things?
Well, I really would like to appreciate everyone that has donated and continuously donates and prays for us while we're in the field. We will say that our work is not any simpler than yours or yours. We are in this together. So we are very, very thankful to know that there are people who are holding us up in every way. So yes, we would love more funding. We the finances do push us a long way, and that is wonderful. Would love for you to continuously pray for us. And then we are very thankful for all the stuff that you've been able to support us with, because God has really worked through your giving. And so thank you so much. I just want to assure you that what you're giving is going to the right soil, and we're very fruitful on the ground. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us, Morris, and I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, I'm so glad Morris was able to join us amongst technical difficulties, but I've just so encouraged to see what God is doing through TeachBeyond Uganda and so many other countries around the world. Over 80 countries now that TeachBeyond is working in. Not every one of those has a national entity, but some of those are partner schools, projects, all sorts of things that God is using to reach the nations through education. So just as a reminder, again, we have a goal to reach $220,000 by the end of today. And thanks to $110,000 in matching gifts, your gift will be matched today when you donate through the link in the chat. Right now, we are actually at $151,000. So 41,000 of that matching has been matched. So we are getting close to the 70% mark. And so you can help us get there by giving today. So continue to interact with this event, share with your friends. We are just so excited to see what God's going to do. So you can join us by giving, of course, but also praying. Like Morris said, we're so thankful for what God has done, what he is doing. And you can join us by praying with us, by giving, by sharing with a friend. So many ways that you can help us continue to do this work. So thanks again for joining us. We will see you in a couple hours when we're joined by Angie in South Africa. So we will see you then.